Good evening, guys, and welcome to a special Sunday night episode of Kitchen Table Conversation, where we have some informative and educational conversations that you kind of have at home around your kitchen table every day, but you really don't want to get out in public and talk about it. But we can have that conversation right here. Tonight's episode, man, is so special because you all know that we've been getting politicians to come on, the ones that's running for office right here local in the city of Tuscaloosa, talk about their platforms and what they've done in the office or what they've done to prepare them for the spot to become a politician or representative from that district. But tonight is special because we have the opportunity for local citizens to talk to the politicians. I invited all of them to watch, so I hope they watch, and I hope they got sense enough to come watch and listen to their constituents. They live in these communities. They live this day-to-day life every day, and every decision that they make affects our citizens. So we're giving them an opportunity to talk. So as we pause, we need you to like and share. We need you to share this. We need you to invite your friends, share, tell them, hey, come on. Also, the post right before this one, if you want to join this platform tonight, you want to join this conversation, just click on that link and I'll let you in, and you can be on the stream with all of us, and we can just have a conversation about what we want to see, what we want to see. But before we get started, man, before I bring on our co-host, I'm not going to host tonight. We got Miss Michelle Coley, Mr. Jabbar Pruitt that's going to host. I'm going to do my thing, and I'm going to get out the way and let them do their thing. But before we get started, I want to shout out our sponsors. Our first sponsor is the Coley Allstate Agency. Listen, guys, y'all been hearing me talk about this stuff every week. Go by and see Michelle and her staff over there at the Coley Allstate Agency right there on Hargrove Road. I guarantee you, for your life, auto, home, business insurance, limited liability, whatever you need. If you need insurance for your big toe, I guarantee you, Michelle probably can get you some insurance for your big toe. So go by and see Coley Allstate Agency right there on Hargrove Road. And if you can't go by, hit her up, 205-561-1793, and I guarantee you will not be disappointed. And also, another one of our sponsors, listen, go by and see Mr. Cassius Lanier and Lanier Automotive right there on Skyler. Go by and check him out, where they don't judge your past, they finance your future. Cassius has been a good businessman in the city for long years, excuse me. So go by and check him out. If you need a new car, used car, you need a little help, your credit ain't right, need a little help, I guarantee he can help you out and get you in the ride that you need and want today. So go by there right there on Skyler and holler at Mr. Cash Lanier. And also, once again, guys, you know this platform needs your help. We need your help in in all aspects of what we do. To be able to get this information out, have these platforms, have these guests come on, it costs money. You think social media, yep, it might be free to look at, but it costs to stream, and it costs to put on live videos, it costs to edit stuff, and it costs to put this information out. So with that being said, if you want to be a sponsor, you want to run a commercial, you just want a spot, you want to pub your brand or your product or your event, hey, just holler at us, hit my inbox, and we can get a plan for you going. And you just want to sew into what we got going on the kitchen table, man talk, hit that cash out right there on the screen. I know you see it. It's RODSR TV, Rod Senior TV. Hit that cash out, make a one-time donation, and I guarantee you we will pub and push your product and your sales to go out of the roof. Don't believe me? Try it. Don't believe me? Just watch. Ain't that what the rapper said? Don't believe me? Just watch. All right, guys, look, I'm finna bring on our co-host, and then I'm gonna bring on everybody. We got our first one is Mr. Jabbar Pruitt. He is anchor at WVUA right here in the city of Tuscaloosa. And we got the one and only Miss Michelle Coley, the owner and operator of Coley Allstate Agency. How y'all guys doing tonight?
I'm well. How about you, Rodney?
I'm great. Jabbar?
I'm good. I'm just, it's a busy day today, but I'm good.
Awesome. All right, guys. So here we go. So everybody's in the waiting room. I know you can hear me. So let's get ready. Let's have this conversation. And once again, guys, if you want to come on, go on the post before this one and hit that link, and I'll let you in, and then you can come on and join this show. So, all right, guys, here we go. So y'all ready to come? Our first guest, we're going to let them introduce themselves once they come on. So We'll let Michelle and them guide that. But everybody dipped out of it. There we go. There was another one. All right. So I'm out y'all way. Jabbar, Michelle, you can handle it.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Kitchen Table Conversation. This evening, we're going to be talking to each district, people in each different district, and they're going to let us know what they want in their district. We're not necessarily supporting a candidate or saying which candidate we're backing. We just want to know and hear from you, what is it that you're looking for in your candidate that you select, and what do you want them to do for your district? What do you see are the needs of the district?
Now, one of the things that you did here, see in the past month or so, I've been doing political profiles on every mayor candidate, every city council candidate in all districts, and a lot of them did get their vision out. So now we actually want to hear from the citizens in the district, want to hear your vision as well. So that's what this is all about.
So what we'll do is start with District 1. We have Mr. Paul Wallens. You'll go ahead and introduce yourself for those who may not be familiar with you. District 1.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Paul Rollins Jr., and I sort of serve for two districts, District 1 and District 2. As a resident of District 2 for going on 40 years, almost 40 years, and our business has been a part of District 1 and District 2 for going on 54 years now. That's Rollins Mortuary here in Tuscaloosa.
All right. Mike, if you'll tell us what district you're representing and who you are.
Yeah, I'm Mike Altman. I'm also from District 1. I'm really excited that Rodney has to be here. I work at the university in the Religious Studies department. Also here from District 1. Been living in District 1 since 2017.
Okay, great. And with the white hat, you kind of went out of the frame. If you can pull your frame back down. Uh-oh. Hello? Can you hear us? Okay.
I hear y'all, but it's sort of breaking up a little.
No, okay,
you
what
actually
district?
sound good
I'm in
now.
District 7, actually. My name is
And what?
Victoria Howard, and I also have a tax company called One Priority Financial Tax Services here in District 7. And I'm so thankful that Rodney got me on and asked me to join you guys tonight.
I'm excited to have you have a conversation with us. And so while we let others come in, if you're out there and you want to join the conversation, Rodney has a link, I think that's posted right before this, and you can join the conversation at any time. He'll bring you in. And so we're just going to start with some basic questions, and we'll start with what are 3 things you'd like to see in your district that you've thought about that you would like to see happen or come to pass in your district? We'll start with District 1. Mike or Paul, who would like to go first?
Go ahead, Mike.
All right. I was trying to stall for some time. No, 3 things. I think I'll tell you 3 things. The first thing is I think in our district we need better. There's a housing problem, and there are 2 solutions on the table, I think, and one of them I think is going to lead towards the kind of gentrification that I don't think would be good for the district. The other kind, I think, would lead towards socioeconomically diverse housing in the district. So I think that there need to be more affordable options. There need to be options beyond, at least I know sort of where I live on 36th Avenue, there's far too many absent landlords, and we need options in place of those that are affordable, that have landlords that are taking care of the property, held accountable by the city. So I think housing is not one issue. The second thing I would say is
my phone went dead.
Just basic infrastructure like sidewalks and lighting that still is, I think we need more of in the district. There's plans for this Riverwalk, but there's no, if you look on a map, you can't get from Odom Park to where they're planning to build this extended Riverwalk and use a sidewalk the whole way there. And that's a problem, I think, for the district there. That's 2. You can come back to me for a 3rd one. I'm running out right now. I'll let Mr.
I like those points. Now, you used a buzzword, Mike, that's thrown around a lot. We talk about affordable housing. When you say affordable housing, what is your definition of affordable housing? Because I think that is relative to who's saying it.
I think my definition would be housing that is affordable. Well, so housing is really, I think the affordable housing thing is connected to another question about jobs that we'll have to get back to at some point. But To me, affordable housing is housing that that is affordable for someone who is, working a full-time job, whatever that might be, or in some cases, I think people have to work 2 jobs because they're being underpaid for their work. So I think, and I think that means, and there are cities where you see them doing this, different kinds of housing in the same neighborhoods that attract different people at different socioeconomic levels to create a diverse neighborhood. And I think there's a lot of folks, because there's so many people in the city and in the community, but also working in the city, who think like developers. They think revitalization means putting in more expensive housing as opposed to putting in just newer, different, better housing.
Okay.
Oh.
Paul, would you like to answer now your 3 things or your list of things you like to share that you see in your district?
Just to start off with just the basic, just simple needs. I would like to see District 1 and 2 brought up to the level that all the other districts are in Tuscaloosa. I mean, something as simple as parks. We have Carlton Park, Freeman Park, Oldham Park, and McKinney Park on the south side. If you drive by those parks at night, you have limited lighting. You probably won't know that you're at a park. We don't have upgraded playground equipment. So we harp on a lot about our kids and having something for the kids to do, but they can't even go to a park that's right down the street from their house to have simple activities. If you compare that to Money's Park that's on 15th Street, updated equipment, walking trails. Keep the district clean. Yes, that's on the community to pick up around your own front yard, but if you travel from ML King Boulevard on 35th Street just to Calusa, on both sides of the road, it's trash. All kind of debris and trash. Anything you can think of is on both sides of the road. Now, I was over in District 7 2 weeks ago, leaving from Woods and Water at the top of the hill. When I left on a Sunday, I noticed either 2 or 3 city vehicles and about 4 to 6 city employees picking up trash as they went up and down that hill. And the trash was minimal. So if we can get 6 city employees on a Sunday to pick up trash on that hill, which when I went up there, I didn't notice any trash at all, if there was any. But I'm looking at this trash that has been on 35th Street for for years. It's never been clean. Never been clean. That's simple. We want to bring businesses. Everybody say, let's bring businesses to the west side, District 1 and District 2. But how can I entice a business to come when it's not clean? You're not going to get a business to come in to an environment that's absolutely just, it looks filthy, and that's on the city. That's on the city. So those are 2 things I would start with. I mean, I can go on for a while, but I'll stop right there from now.
All right, Kentoria, we'll let you say for District 7, what are some things that you'd like to see in your district? Oh, she said it looked like her eyes like, I got a list here.
No, I actually love District 7. I'm actually new over here. I've been here almost a year now, so I like it. The only thing that I think that District 7 need more of is like recreational, like kids, like parks and stuff like that in this area for kids. Because like I literally have to, like, for my kids to like go out or something like that, I literally have to drive across town somewhere to find them a play area. So it's more like the play area and things like I want to see more of that over here, more businesses too on this strip right here. It's not a lot of, to me, honestly, Black-owned businesses here. So I would love to see more of that and bring here in this area too. And far as that, like I said, I love the area, but far as like when it rain, like we just went through this freeze and stuff, it's a lot of flooding in this area. So I think a lot of things like with the sewer and stuff like that can be improved more a little in this area. But other than that, like the people, the area, I like it. But like I said, more things for kids to do, I think. That's new for me.
Now, Kentoria, you say businesses in the area. Are you referring to like the area where you live? That area right there?
Right. Well, it's some, yes, but it's not. It's more like barbershops and stuff like that. I think I more want to see different stores or like I don't think we have a Dollar General, you know, like little stores like that. I have to drive like Walmart. We have to go all the way to Walmart. We have to go to the grocery store around over in that area. So yeah, that's what I was meaning more of seeing hair stores and stuff like that, you know.
Right. I understand. I think it's very interesting when we listen to the citizens speak, you know, parks are very important. That's the top of mind is we're talking about parks and recreation. I think that is huge. And I did not realize that that was so important and at the top of mind. You know, I think sometimes our council thinks more of business, people wanting to attract business, stores, and that type of thing to their area. But starting with parks and recreation, that's something that's at top of mind.
Yes,
Mike, we'll
yes.
come back to you. You said you were going to think of something else.
Michelle, this is
Oh,
Kenya. I just been,
Yeah.
I'm actually
okay. Go ahead, Kenya.
I would like to speak on what I would like to see in our district. So
What district are you in? What district are you in?
District 1 and 2 together.
Okay.
And I definitely identified with what he said about the filth, you know, the trash that's on the ground, and the fact that it's not a nice place. When you cross over 15th Street, you know, you don't have any growth in that community. I've been a West End resident for most of my life. And it looks really not a lot different than it did 40 years ago. We definitely need to clean up in that area. We also need to look at recreation, not just necessarily, I mean, parks are very important. That's an important part of it. But I mean, even sidewalks, you know, why can't we have sidewalks to walk down the street? Why can't we have bike lanes in our community? You know, I see people riding bikes all the time. Why do we have so many empty, vacant lots in our community? Things like that, which is like an eyesore. And there's a lot of lack of economic development in the West End. There's also a lot of industry that is within the residential areas in our districts, and it looks bad. I mean, it looks really, really bad, and we really need to have some economic growth in that community. So, in our community. So, I just wanted to speak to that. And as far as like the park and recreation, that's very important. People need to be able to go outside. You know, they should be able to exercise. I have to go down 15th Street to Monash Park or to the Riverwalk to go walking because I can't walk in the street. I get hit by a car. So these are just some of the things that bother me. It's a lot more, but you know, those are the things that I kind of I'm thinking about right off my head.
Well, Kenya, I know that your mom is running for District 2, and one of her main things that she talked about was parks and cleaning up in District 2. So she did, you know, seem as if she had a plan on that, but kind of going to, and that was important, but kind of going to your bike riders lanes and all that. I do know that covering city council every Tuesday for the past 6 years, that was just a huge study on the number of bike riders for them to even put it like a bike lane somewhere. It took forever to do that. I know you say you see a lot of people in there, but whoever is the next council member for 1 and 2 should probably talk more into kind of creating that study, kind of see if there are enough people that ride bikes to even create a bike lane.
And they are watching, Mr. Pruitt. They are watching.
No, they are. I know they are. And I said that. So any of them could start that conversation on that. You know, I think what a lot of people don't realize is that when you talk about parking issues, when you talk about bike riding, there is a lot of study. There's a lot of study that goes in to kind of see if it's enough for more parks. A parking space. Is it enough to create a bike lane? So it's a lot of studying that goes on to make it happen. But all it takes is just someone kind of saying, "Hey, I want to create kind of start this study to kind of see if it can happen."
the city loves to do studies. They're looking at expanding transportation. There's a big study that recently got done for that. And I was looking at what you all were saying that you want in your different districts, and Elevate, that's something that is a hot button issue, Elevate and how it came about and everything. But that's what Elevate was created. And I have to disclose that I am on the Elevate advisory board. And that's what Elevate is set up to be, to help with that, to have funding, like you're talking about the western side of the Riverwalk. Someone mentioned going to the Riverwalk. Well, they're going to extend the western side of the Riverwalk, and that pretty much is a clean slate, and it can be whatever the citizens of that side of town want to be. You know, that's where you need to come to the table, and your council person, whoever is in those positions, they need to fight for the money that's already allocated and show what they want to happen. We took a benchmarking trip to Tennessee, Chattanooga, Tennessee, and we were able to see their Riverwalk and what a Riverwalk can be. And I mean, it is just the limits. It's limitless on what you can have there. So I think it's very important that whoever is in those seats, that we have a plan that we're working towards and have a vision. That's what I would like to see from council members. Share your plan. You can say things like you're strong on education. You want to see. Well, that's what we have a school board for. So beyond saying what you're going to do for education, what are you going to do for your city and the improvements that we want to see? What is your plan with some meat to it? That's what I'm looking for. How are you going to attract business? There's been some talk about adding another grocery store. That's something I personally would like to see in District 1 and 2. Another alternative, in particular, like in Northport, how they've added a Aldi's and they've gotten a Jack's, those types of things. I'd like to see those types of businesses attracted to that area. So how do you go about doing that? So the council members, I would think that would be something that needs to be in your plan. What specific businesses are you going to bring? I'll go back to you, Mr. Rollins. That you said you had some more things on your list that you wanted to share. What is your position and feeling about Elevate, and how can it be used? Because a lot of times people just focus on the McDonald Hughes Center and what was promised for it, but there's a lot more money in there for the west side of Tuscaloosa than just McDonald Hughes Center.
As far as Elevate, I haven't looked into it too deeply. It does concern me from the things I have seen so far, as far as what exactly the West Side would get. Everyone talks about the McDonald Hughes Center. I have some issues with the Hughes Center. It's been a lot of talk about the indoor playground. Well, it's an indoor playground. So what's the benefits of an indoor playground at the Hughes Center? That playground could have been put in one of those parks where the kids can play outside. I do know that that playground was placed in the room that's used for the summer feeding program that's been going on for 38 years. So that was a huge program that's been going on all my life. I mean, we'll be playing outside in the summertime, and you'll know when it was time to go to the Hughes Center because everybody will be walking towards the Hughes Center. You see all the buses go towards the Hughes Center, all the vans go towards the Hughes Center. After everyone goes to the Hughes Center, they eat, they come back to the yard, we finish playing basketball, football, or whatever. So now what are our babies going to do as far as the feeding program?
Paul, I didn't not to cut you off. I didn't think of that. I was a proponent for the playroom. Got off the bandwagon when it started being pushed to the side and money taken away from the project and all that. But now to think about that, yeah, where our kids gonna go have lunch at?
And that was for the whole city. That just wasn't for the West Side. I mean, you had
everybody.
Boys and Girls Club, everyone was coming to the Hughes Center to eat. I know this past year with the pandemic, it was a pause to it. But now you have an indoor playground inside a building where we were feeding the city during the summer when the kids were out of school and they needed to eat, as opposed to this summer when the kids are pulling up to the school and getting frozen lunches. Well, if I don't have electricity at my house or gas to cook my food, or I can't keep my food cool in the refrigerator, that's the same reason that Brother Pelt took it upon himself to feed the kids at the Y. So, I mean, it's simple things. And I mean, I'm glad Brother Pelt brought this project on board for us to talk about it, but I'm not coming on to bashing about it. I'm just coming on to point out the issues that I see in my community, in my district.
And let's talk about the city as a whole too, because we do have the mayor election that's going on that is going to affect the entire city and not just one part. So what are you wanting to see from the mayor's position for the whole city? I know workforce development is a big buzzword. A lot of people are talking about bringing jobs with living wages that people can afford to live and support their homes. How do we attract those types of jobs? White collar jobs, jobs that are more that you need more training for. How do we get that training? So what are your thoughts about that, and who would like to share on that issue about workforce and attracting jobs to the area? Mike?
Somebody.
Mike looks like he wants to say something. Somebody chimed in, green jobs, you know, jobs that are...
So that was my wife.
Help him, Emily.
She's been passing me notes. She handed me notes that green jobs defund the police. I'll get to that in a minute. That's an elevate. I got an elevate point on that. But no, so she
and you know, we were looking at that report card that Tuscaloosa Action had given to all of the mayoral candidates. And, you know, when you're talking about green jobs, I didn't see anything in his, you know, statement. I mean, you know, anybody's statement. I won't just pick on any one person about any green jobs. They talked about recycling, which I think is, you know, important and things of that nature. But when it came to anything around green or renewable energy, there was no plan that anyone had. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't appear to me that there's, you know, any type of any initiative to do anything green in the city. So that's just my opinion.
I think Kenya's right.
I'm looking at this Elevate booklet because I got it at home and I'm looking through it right now.
Great. Good. And for anybody who's watching live, if you'd like to chime in, if you would just click down on the link, you can come put the link in the comments, right? And maybe they can click on it and come in. Great. And then if you'd like to join in and have something, I see Ulysses Lavender. He's on. He's chatting with us and watching. Why don't you chime in and express some of your opinions with us and what you feel? And go ahead, somebody who would like. BJ, would you like to say something? Miss Jemison? I know she's been trying to chime in. Miss Howard, if you'd like to say something else.
I'm okay. I'm fine. I'm just listening and learning.
Go ahead, Mike. You can finish your statement.
Oh, I was just gonna say Kenya's like nailed it. Kenya was part of the group, as was Rodney, that we had that read through for Tuscaloosa Action, reading through the answers. And I think there's a real missed opportunity that actually affects District 1 and District 2 in particular around green jobs, in that we talk about the need for economic development on the West Side. We talk about the need for living wage jobs. And, you know, President Biden just committed to being 100% clean energy, you know, no carbon energy by 2035. That means there's gonna be a ton of federal grant money, a ton of private money trying to make that happen, that could be brought to this city, that could employ a number of people on the West Side. And the lack of vision from any of the candidates on this to get ahead of it, you know, to talk about electrifying the city fleet, to talk about electrifying, they're talking about this transportation, but none of it involves electrifying that transportation, which can employ the skilled labor and train the labor on the West Side for good jobs that are gonna last the next 50 years, where the jobs are going, not where they're leaving. That, you know, I think that's something that whoever wins, we got to hassle them about for the next 4 years.
Exactly. I always think about with all the jobs that are currently the industry that's currently on the West Side, I would like to know how many people that live on the West Side are actually employed at those companies. And I'd like to see whoever comes in to leadership to facilitate that. We always talk about being able to get transportation to work. Mm-hmm. Well, that seems simple. If you can have a certain number of jobs allocated that are already in those industries, and then transportation can be provided, that seems like a simple fix. Like, we allocate a certain number of these jobs, because there are some plants and jobs that are paying really well that are already there. So I would like to see leadership look into that, because we're always talking about how can we get workforce and transportation and how can we get people jobs. I think that those are things that you can look at immediately that perhaps you could immediately make an impact and help people immediately by asking, hey, a certain portion of these jobs need to be set aside for people who live in this area in my district in order for you to benefit from some of the tax savings and the grants that we can provide and things of that nature. Those are things that I think about sometimes. What else would you like to express, Paul, in terms of your list, moving down on other things that you see? We've talked about cleaning up and sidewalks and parks. What else would you like to talk about?
One question that I would like to, well, one point I would just like to point out to the candidates, whether they're currently sitting in office or running for office. Something that intrigues me when it comes to voting. As the representative of your district, how are you going to vote? Are you going to vote based off of what you feel is best for your district and your community? Are you going to vote based off of what your community requests of you to vote, how the community requests you to vote for our district? Or will you be voting based off of outside factors outside of our community? And those are some issues that I've seen in the past. And for the individuals that may be running, they need to understand that it's not just a 2-hour job on Tuesday at 6 p.m. City council is not a 2-hour job. I've been involved with the city as far as focus groups and boards or what have you for probably 8 to 10 years now. And from being involved in the city in that aspect, I see how the city works, and I see the long hours that the council members put in outside of showing up at 6 o'clock on Tuesday, the pre-meetings throughout the week. And people have asked me in the past, you should run. And unless you understand what it takes to run and to hold that seat, please be prepared. And that's a fear that I have for individuals that may be running. Please know what you're getting into. This is serious. One misstep or misvote can set your community and your district back for years. And that's just from the aspect of holding that chair. There are other issues, like I mentioned, that's cleaning up, but bringing businesses. I know someone mentioned a grocery store. We haven't had a grocery store on the level of Publix here ever. A Publix on the west side. I know years ago they were talking about bringing a Walmart here, but that was shot down. We've had the same stores for, I guess, the last 40, 50 years, Piggly Wiggly, and we had Floyd's for a little while, and then they closed, and then they opened and burned down, and opened and burned down, and then opened and burned down again. So what are we doing as far as city representatives? At some point, we have to understand what's best for our community, do what's best for our community, and not what's best for outside entities, but for your constituents that you said you're going to run for and do what's best for. Right now, a hot topic is the YMCA. Everyone wants to jump on the Barnes Branch YMCA and ride it and say, hey, we're going to build you a brand new Barnes Branch YMCA. That's interesting because prior to the bailout vote, there was no guarantee that we could build you a Barnes Branch YMCA. So leading up to the vote, they said we can't guarantee you a Barnes Branch YMCA. Now that the vote is taking place, now everybody says, I'm gonna do everything I can to build you a Barnes Branch YMCA. You can't have it both ways. As far as a lifetime resident of this district, and as far as me being a Y baby, I've gone through the Y. Let's clear something up. Barnes Branch was not bailed out. Barnes Branch was not saved. Barnes Branch was fine. We needed a new building. We know that. A new building is what we've needed forever. Barnes Branch was in a building that was paid off and was debt free. We owned that property. Downtown needed to be bailed out. So by you incorporating Barnes Branch into this bailout, now you're looking at a situation where even if we want to move forward, we have to pay this $1.57 million back to the city before we can even move forward. So let's clear the air on that. So Barnes Branch wasn't saved by their bailout. Everything you're seeing now with Barnes Branch, with the basketball team, that's the community doing that. Everything you're seeing with the baseball team coming up, these are our babies that we're bringing back to the Y. Yes, we got a lot of momentum going. With Sunday's Best happened last year and the year before that. So the bailout didn't just make Sunday's Best happen. We're going to take care of our babies regardless. They're going to get everything they need regardless. The community is going to take care of our babies. Ms. Carter going to take care of our babies. They're going to be taken care of. So let's not get it confused that this bailout of $1.57 million for downtown saved Barnes Branch. And that's what I hate to hear politicians or people that's running for things try and take this and spin it to make it seem as though it's something they did for the good of everyone. When everybody for Barnes that had a care for Barnes said, don't include Barnes. And if you're going to give us a guarantee us a head start in this fundraiser. Guarantee us $1 million to put into the pot so we can start with building new Barnes, as opposed to saying, I can't guarantee you anything, but you guarantee downtown $1.57 million to clear that debt and to clear whoever's name was signed on that lease in the beginning.
Paul, I thank you for saying, I thank you for saying that, because I think a lot of people in the community needed to hear that. They needed to know some of the background of what's going on. You hear stuff in flashes, you see posts on Facebook, and sometimes you do need to know what's going on in the background, what's happening. We've got some new people jumped on the call with us, Ms. Foster, and I think Ms. Jemison is on the phone. Ms. Foster, what district are you with, and what would you like to add to the conversation?
I don't know what happened before me. I'm Ms. Foster. Let me begin. What
district are you in? What district?
I'm in District 2.
Okay.
And I've been here all my life, 45 years to be exact. And from my standpoint, it just has been a change and a neglect. And it's always been a neglect, even when Ernestine Tucker was District 2, and DuPont was actually, she would put stuff on the table and it get mushed in her face as if we didn't need anything as far as lighting, as far as police patrol, as far as businesses and anything. Even when she asked to improve buildings, it wasn't ever. They gave her an awning over Sweet Taste, saying that, that's all you can get as far as budget-wise. I'm just saying it's always been a neglect. And me watching my kids, as opposed to me growing up in this area, in this neighborhood, it's a difference. My kids can't go outside. My kids right now, I raise my kids. I have a 24-year-old and an 18-year-old that's about to graduate. Never got an opportunity to go outside and ride bikes up and down the street. Never got an opportunity to walk from one neighborhood to the next. It's just awful, and it's getting worse as time permits. And I am a homeowner, and I love my home. I love my space. I love where I live. Because of, I know the potential that it could have. It's lost to the point where no one is not on the level of the district, but as far as the person that actually, like Raven or somebody like that, no one's ever just listening and standing up for what we really need. For growth, for our children to grow, for education. It was awful on me as a single mother, raising my kids up without being able to take them to after school programs and all that stuff being available at the time. I actually had, with the help of my family, my mother and my sister, I did get a chance to, have help. But it's a lot of people that didn't have help, don't have help like I had. Mm-hmm. And I just hate to see these kids pretty much raising themselves because the mother has to go to work, or, you know, the single mother has to go to work, or the father and the mother have to go to work, and they just pretty much doing whatever. You know, everybody complain about them having guns. Everybody complain about them being mischievous. They don't have anything to do. They don't have an outlet. We used to could go different places. We used to could go do things and have activities. We don't have that. And speaking on the barns, my son played baseball all his life up there. And when he got an opportunity to actually play baseball with a school, you know, it wasn't anything that he qualified for. And the group he was with, all the boys played together. All of them went to school together. All of them tried out for regular baseball. You know, it was just a black and white thing that they just didn't approve of them playing. And it's just not beneficial for them to get somewhere and love something, because my son loved baseball and can't do anything with it. So my thing is, I just hate my kids and all the other kids having to be stagnant and not be able to grow.
Thank you for your comments, Ms. Foster. That was powerful. People are commenting all the way for that. I will say this, something you said about in the past when someone, a council person stood alone, had to stand alone. I would say to you that that's something I want to see with the council, that you be able to form networks, alliances, to where when you want to get something done, there should be no reason that you can't get 4 votes to sponsor something that you want to get done. I think that you've got to be able to work with other people, cross lines, be able to talk to people, because you may want something for your one district, but you can't get it on your own. You can't just get it approved. You've got to be able to work with others and get them to support and know how to give a little and get what you need for your area. When we put those things on the table, that's what we've got to demand. You can't have this bickering, infighting, and things of that nature. And you can't have these silos where you're just only for your one place. It's one Tuscaloosa, and we want all of Tuscaloosa to rise. We can't just we want equality across all of the areas. And so it's going to take everybody working together in doing that. So when you get on the council, you're not just there representing just your area. You have to think about other areas, because you're not going to make it. You're not going to get anything accomplished. And I have noticed that in the past, we had that type of leadership where if money was on the table, this side of town was going to get some of that money. This side of town was going to get some of that money, or you weren't going to get their vote. So you have to be able to know how to negotiate and navigate, and we've got to hold people accountable. Whatever they're saying they're going to do, whatever Ms. Foster, what you're saying we want activities for our young people. We've got to be able to hold people accountable for those things. We can't just stop once we give the vote. We got to still continue to contact them and reach out, do the work. Is there anybody on the phone, Rodney? Is there anybody on the phone?
Yeah, Ms. Blonzel, you on the phone? You there?
Yes, I'm on the phone.
Go ahead, say your piece, baby.
Okay, how y'all doing tonight?
We're well, Ms. Blonzel. What district are you calling from?
I want to go back in the 1980s, the late 80s, the early 70s, when they first moved it, where we had districts, you know, when they made plans for the mayor in the 7 districts. Now, ever since we had this plan in place, it's been 43. You know, like the council people in our area may be asking for stuff, but when they get on the table, when they put it on the table and they don't have four votes, you know, then they can't get nothing done. It's like she said, you know, it's like they're trying to get it done in these districts, but we can't. But this my whole point is tonight, Rodney.
Mm-hmm.
This year we have a chance to get 4 seats. And when I say we, I'm talking about Democrats, the blacks, the people that really need help. We got a chance to get. It ain't the fight really within the council. It's above the council. But what I'm saying is, we got a chance to get a black in 1, a black in 2, a black in 6, and a black in 7. Now, sometimes black people don't work together. But as voters, we need to get out and vote and vote these 4 in. So when one puts something on the table, the other 3 can vote in, and we'll have 4 to their 3. See, we got to stop looking at all this stuff that's over our head and look at the city council seat. That's why it's so important we need to vote. We got to get 4 blacks in there. You know, they said ain't no a black and white thing. It's not racial, but hey, we're not getting anything done. Long as it was 3 when it was Charles and Odessa, and I don't remember who that other black councilman. When every time they tried to get some, they got shot down because they couldn't get those votes. Now, when Kip Tyner wanted somebody out of Alberta, well, he can get things done because they had 4 white people on that board, and they would vote for what they wanted in their districts. Our district's always been lacking over here. If you really want to know, we have been lacking over here ever since they changed it. Even before they changed it, before Walt got in there, it was messed up. So when they did this zoning and switched the districts around, that still left us out because they had 4 and we had 3. Nobody never pays any attention to that. But we got a chance to make history. We got a chance to turn it around, but we as a people got to do it. It would be even good if we could turn Alabama blue. I mean, are y'all listening?
That ain't gonna happen.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You're saying you're saying a lot there. And
to change. We need to vote. We need to put all our arts and all our madness. We need to put all that stuff aside. Stop looking at our friends like Rodney's been saying for the longest. We got to put all that aside. And we got to get together and get a plan for these 4 districts that we can get a black person in. And we need to have a meeting with all of them. And look, hey, we ain't fighting against each other. This fight ain't with us. The fight with them. But they putting us in it, using us for scapegoats and stuff. We gotta stop. We gotta stop being that. I've been listening to my mom and them and been in the movement for a long time, and I know what I'm talking about. Forget all of that stuff, and let's get our 4 council members in that we need, the 4 black. So when they vote on money and then vote on projects, we got 4 people that ought to be able to work corporately and together as a race and as a people and get it done. You see what I'm saying? And I'm not gonna say anything else. I'm gonna keep saying it till we go vote. We got to have 4. We got to have 4 strong people. We got to have 4 strong heads that know what they talking about, gonna read up on stuff, get the information, and make sure we stick together. We don't need to be divided. We need to be sticking together. As a race, as a people, as the Democratic Party, because some people look like they done got brainwashed, and we don't get brainwashed real quick, and we don't sell out for money.
Amen.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
What I'm saying tonight.
I love
we don't sell out for money.
Ms. Blase, I love your passion. I love your peanut butter cookie, baby. Keep fighting that good fight. I'm right.
Thank you. So would anybody like
until we switch all these, get these people that done got brainwashed and get them washed back with us like they supposed to be.
You just keep fighting. You just keep putting your fight out there, baby. Hey, they hearing you. They might not receive, but they hearing you.
Thank you for letting me talk. I'm glad I got a chance to come on tonight.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm gonna keep preaching that till I get to somebody here.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
And I want to say one other thing.
Go ahead, real quick.
I've been really helping one of my friends over here at District 2, and I hope they get in their seat there.
Don't do that. Hey, he ain't paying no money to be on here tonight. So he ain't doing no good.
Well, Ms. Jemison, thank you so much for your comment, but we do not want to bring in candidates and endorse. We want to keep this strictly with the people talking. Appreciate what you had to say. I really do appreciate what you had to say. And to just piggyback off of that, if you can't get all 4 seats, you're going to have to learn how to work with other people and be able to get them to see what you need them to see. I'm an advocate for that, because if you cannot get the seats, you got to learn how to talk to people and get them to be able to work with you, because there's mention about Kip Tyner. I'm in Kip Tyner's district. I'm sorry, we're not supposed to mention people, but I'm in District 5.
Okay, no.
I do apologize. And we're in District 5. And you talk about how they get things done. They know how to go and network with people and talk and get people to support them, because it's not always the 4 of one color that is voting together. They get other people to vote.
Knowledge.
You got to know how to get people to vote. You got to know what you're doing, and you got to offer something when you come to the table. You got to bring something for them. Okay, this is what I want. This is what you want. How can we work together? You got to know how to do that. You negotiate. You got to know how to do that.
Michelle,
one of the things that talking about District 5 and getting what they want, that kind of stuck out to me. District 5, 65% of that entire district was wiped out in 2011. So they are kind of, and District 5 is kind of in one of those positions where they have open space. It's kind of easier to kind of network and kind of get a lot of things in there. But I think, you know, part of the plan, the tornado hurricane plan back in the day when all that happened, funds were allotted for District 5 to rebuild and stuff like that. So a lot of the stuff that goes in District 5, that money is already kind of accounted for, you know, for it. So it's not, it's almost like it's not where they just getting what they want. They just kind of getting what's already there to pay for.
And using it and utilizing it.
Got
That's
it.
one thing. You have to know what you're utilizing, how to take that money and use it as incentive to attract business. Okay, so we got $1 million. What can we do with that million? Okay, we can
Right.
give it to you if you bring your business here. We can help, or we can, you know, you got to know how to use it and what to do. Who else would like to comment on that?
Can we talk for a few minutes on the when it comes, because we know we got a school board election too. Can we talk a few minutes when it comes about education?
We got 9 minutes to talk about education.
Well, hey, this is my show. We can talk all night. But but yeah, we got 9, 10, 15 minutes.
We're gonna let Mr. Rollins go last on this one.
He's got a list.
We talk about the dynamics of the school board. We know that education integrally affects what we do every day too, how our kids are educated, and also when it comes to jobs and infrastructure when it surrounds education. Because some of y'all talked the points about what you want to see when it comes to structure with city education, city schools. Excuse me, not all y'all at once, but somebody say something.
Can you go ahead and kick them off? You look like you want to say something about education. Go ahead.
Are you muted, Kenya?
Oh, she froze up. Oh, wow.
Call back
Okay,
in,
there I
Kenya.
am. Okay.
Okay, there she go. Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
Oh, she's back out.
Okay, Paul, you go ahead and get started.
Paul,
Can you go out again?
Paul.
Just call my phone, baby. Just call the phone.
It's on you, Paul.
I mean, I'm not going to sit up here and beat the desk about it, but my basic concerns about education is what it's always been for the past few years. And that boils down to the number of African American male teachers in our school system. It could be a shortage of men coming out of college that's majoring in education. I don't believe that to be true, however. I mean, we know it's a need. Our kids need to see positive role models, and oftentimes it's going to be what they see at school, because that's a safe haven. There's one thing I know can help our kids, because sometimes they just need that male. I remember probably, I guess about 7 or 8 years ago now, when Dr. Linebarger was over at West Lawn, they had a group called the 100 Black Men of West Lawn, 100 Men of West Lawn, something like that. The only thing we would do is show up at school on Mondays and just greet the kids as they come in. Good morning. Have a wonderful day. That's it. That's all we did. And some would stay around after classes started, talking to young men walking through the hallway, getting off the bus. Something as simple as a good morning from a positive male role model would take their kid a long way. And I built relationships with some of those young kids just from greeting them in the morning. And I see where they are now. It's just something simple as that. Whatever the dynamics or the politics are that's tied into the school system, I don't have an inroad on that. But
I got a question. What happened to all the sponsorship? What happened to the people the working people that actually work at these businesses that actually sponsored at the school? Do they not accept sponsorship anymore, or what is it? Because
Adopt School program.
I guess that's what it was. Because Central had on their fencing all the sponsors you could actually, have to donate to the school to help with this education. But we were at that time, we were mixed, so a lot of those kids that had the parents that work in these big corporations, big places that could get these sponsorships to help the schools. What happened with that? We don't have that anymore.
You know, it's still there. The problem is when we had it, it was one school. It was Central High School. We were one school. So once they split us up into 3 high schools, now you have, instead of with my class, with Jacobson and Roundup Publishing, I went to school with Pettis Roundup. So everyone was pouring all their assets into Central High School because that's where all the kids were. So once you split us up and you got kids north of the river, you got Eastwood, and you have people that may move and send their kids to Hillcrest, I mean, obviously they're going to, you know, support the school that their kids are at and what have you. So now it, you know, shortens up the assistance that Central may be getting. So it's still there, just depends on what school you're at. If you go to Northridge, their fence is live.
Yeah, they got a lot. That's why I was wondering. I know, you know, we do at Central. My kids were, I'm a C high all the way, and I know it's more than me, a parent that works, that have a job that can actually sponsor or donate to the kids. I don't understand. I don't know how that works, but I don't understand how they don't have any. Now, I'm not going to say they don't have any, but not as much as they used to have. I don't understand.
I think I can kind of speak to that. And I know I'm supposed to be on the show, but you have the coaches directly have to reach out, are reaching out now. It's in some of our schools, especially 2 of the schools I'm not going to name, but they really are lacking for funding, and it's not like it used to be where businesses were just pouring money into the school.
Right.
Now the coaches really have to get out on the grind and ask and dang on their beg for funds for the students. So that's probably why you don't see a lot of corporate, a lot of business sponsorship besides Adopt a School coming with our athletic programs. But myself and I know Mr. Rollins and Ms. Coley, we give all the time to different programs at the school. So it's kind of half a dozen in one hand and 6 in the other. So it's crazy like that.
I think also it depends on too the educator that's in charge of the school, because there are schools where they reach out. I know when Central Elementary had a certain leader there, you know, he made it to where everybody wanted to come and give and donate and be a part of that school. You have to be open. The school has to be open to receive when people come and try to make the donations. Some schools are not as open. They're not as familiar with how to bring the community in. Because if you don't know what they need, because I know water has been donated. I was like, well, schools need water? But they said, yeah, they need those types of things. I had no idea. So those are donations. Everybody can go buy a pack of water and drop some water off or do certain things if you know what needs to be done. I think that we have greater issues that need to be addressed. And that's what I mean by the community leaders need to have an action plan of this is what I see as an issue and this is how we're going to address that particular issue. We talk about children not having activities, people dropping out of school. I didn't know that you could not have to go to school after a certain age and there was nobody following up on you if you didn't go to school. You know, your truancy.
A 16 literally can walk into the school and say, hey, I'm done.
And not come back.
Things of that nature. Things of that nature, 14-year-old, or that if juveniles commit crimes, nothing happens to them. It's just like nothing really happens to you. So little things like that, little loopholes like that, we have to have our city leaders correct those types of things, because you can't have somebody who can just know they can commit a crime, nothing will happen to them, and then expect them to still go to regular school and teachers have to teach. And you know, you can't do that. You can't, that's not conducive to learning. So we got to have systems in place to handle that. You know, those are things we talked about. Somebody, Emily, Michael's wife wanted to defund the police. That is a topic that's like, yeah,
we ain't gonna talk about that tonight.
That was a joke. That was
I have a comment.
I know. He said that was a joke. He said that was a joke. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah,
what district are you from?
Okay. I think I'm in district. So I believe that there needs to be investment in our teachers, in K-12, and particularly in schools that are mostly African American. I'm faculty. I've been teaching faculty for about 4 years, and I see that there's some achievement gaps. There's some educational gaps that are there for our kids, and so we need to be looking at what they're learning, and we need to be looking at how it's applicable to what they do. More invest for development.
Oh, you're breaking up really bad. Hello? Hello, you're breaking up really bad. Can you call right back? No, you're getting a better position because you're breaking up really. We can hear you, but you're breaking up. Let's try again.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Okay. Yes, go ahead.
Okay.
Finish
All right.
what you were saying.
All right. So I was saying that there needs to be more investment. There needs to be more investment in career development and having it linked to what they're learning in school. And I think that, students would be more apt if they really know like what direction they're heading in to do better and excel. And that's just kind of like my observation.
Thank you for that. We're going to give everybody one. We did, yes. We're going to go ahead and start wrapping things up. Everybody's going to get a final statement of what you want to hear or see in your district and what you're looking for. You're speaking directly to your council person that's running. So we'll start with Ms. Foster, and then we'll just go around and everybody have their final comments.
District 2, more lighting, less renting of homes, the pipes, the water line fixed, more education, more outlets for the kids. It's just abundance of things that we're lacking. I just don't want any of that lacking futuristically for kids, my grandkids, my children's kids. I just don't want to see that, I had a rough time with my kids growing. I just don't want their kids to have to endure what they did.
Absolutely. Thank you. We'll go to Ms. Howard, District 7.
Okay. I'm in District 7, and like I said, there's more like she's copping on what she said, more things for the kids, a lot of things for the kids to do and stuff in our area. I want to see that happen over here. But other than that, thank you guys. Y'all were very informative, and thank you, Rodney, for inviting me on.
Michael, District 1 and 2. We can't hear you, Michael.
I forgot to click unmute. I just want to thank, that doesn't cut into my time. I just want to thank Rodney for having me. I learned a ton just from listening to everybody here, and this has been great, and I just appreciate that. I'll say that when it comes to District 1, I just want someone who's going to strengthen the neighborhoods and the communities and bring a sense of sort of shared community across the district, and then that's going to fight for that in the city council meetings. Some of us when there's a meeting and 15 people show up and say don't vote yes on this, that's going to not vote yes on it. That's what I really think we need, is that someone's going to listen and fight.
Paul, a minute, less than a minute, please.
Can I go last? I may go over a minute. I mean, one thing that Mike just said that hit home. If your constituents request of you to vote a certain way, you should be speaking for your constituents instead of outside factors. The YMCA, there wasn't anything that was brought from our district. Our district reps did not bring that to the table as far as the bailout. Right. So that lets you know how much strength the downtown Y had, or how much faith they had in our representation for our district. That was not brought to the table by District 1 or 2. That was brought to the table by a different council person from a different district to get that pushed through. And it's just a few things I had already brought to the city council, so it's nothing new that they haven't heard. Issues that were brought before them that I've always bring before the city council, because I'm always going to address them first before I bash them. And I'm not going to bash them now, but we talk about violence and stolen guns. We tell everybody lock your car doors, don't put guns in your car. You spend money on this initiative, but yet when you have a case where a registered firearms dealer sells a stolen firearm to an individual,
right?
That individual is following the law. gets a speeding ticket, gets pulled over, and that police officer asks, "Do you have a firearm in this car?" They say yes. They present this firearm to the police department. It comes back stolen. That individual goes to jail. And that registered firearms dealer is still allowed to operate some routes. And you can't tell me that you didn't know. And if you did know, I'll bring it to your attention. The same way you had an issue for safety, public safety, for Archibalds and Woodrows when they were on 82, and you couldn't just close them down, but you could take their license. Well, you're telling me you can't close down this registered firearms dealer, but if you want, you can take their license and you can send them to Northport or somewhere else. It's things like that. You have a billboard that's on Greensboro Avenue asking for your vote. The billboard sits right up under a commercial business that if that commercial business comes before my board right now, we would give them stipulations that you cannot have tires outside of your store after you close down. This business has well over 200 tires outside of their store, and it's left there. It's been like that for years. So what are you doing as a council person? This is your district. What are you doing as a council person? You can't say you didn't see it because your billboard is right there. So you have 200 tires sitting outside.
Cashing that check.
That's the issue. You have short-term rentals. We have an issue with that. It's on the board.
Fired.
Zoning board, people come before us. We can't deny you for short-term rental. It's one phrase in that short-term rental that's an issue for me. And it's if you have a house, if you have 3 bedrooms, we'll typically approve you for 6 adults, 2 adults per bedroom. Well, in Alabama, if you're 19, you're considered an adult. So let's just say if I tell you you can only have 6 adults, but each adult has 2 more kids or 2 more individuals under the age of 18 or younger, you can then at that point have 12 people at their house, and they won't be in violation. If a high school student just graduated from county high wants to rent out a short-term rental and want to have a party at their house, and it's only 2 of them that's 19, that's 2 adults, the rest of them are children. It's something as simple as that we're missing. And as city council, as mayor, as whomever, certain things just need to be addressed. But that's it. I'm done. I'll go. I will go. I told you. Let me go last.
Hey, we're gonna have a special show for you.
You were last. You were last. I have
Okay.
enjoyed. I have really enjoyed it this evening, hearing everybody's perspective and what they have going on. I am not a politician, but I do sit on a lot of boards, and I am in a lot of rooms where conversations are held. And I really need to hear these perspectives so I can share them with people that I am involved with and that I have access to. They need to hear these things. And if you're running for office, I hope you take note. This is what your constituents want from you. This is what they're looking for. Thank you for this opportunity, Rodney. Thank you for everyone who joined us this evening and on the rebroadcast. Thank you. All of the comments, I've been reading them. Thank you, guys. Remember, vote March 2nd. It's important that you go and vote for someone in your district. You know, you have to vote within your district and then vote for mayor. It's so important. You cannot complain if you did not participate in the process.
You're right. Yeah. You're right. Thank you guys so much for coming on. Each one of y'all citizens that came on.
The debate is coming on. Remember that, Rodney.
So yeah, debate. So yeah, tune into the debate in 1 minute. Watch the debate, guys. But I got my closing statement, so I'm gonna click y'all off and then I'm gonna come back on. Thank you, Jabari, Michelle, Miss Howard, Miss Foster, Mike, Paul, Miss Blonzel, Kenya, and all the commenters and stuff in the chat rooms and stuff. Thank you guys so much. Love y'all.
Thank you.
All right, guys, listen, I'm finna do my closing statements. I was reading the comments and we had a lot of good stuff, a lot of good topics tonight. Like I say, thank everybody for joining and coming on and being part of this show, this special show. And I hope and I pray that you candidates, the incumbents and the ones that run for the first time, listen and heard to these citizens tonight, because they really are concerned. Districts all across the city. We didn't have nobody from District 3 on or District 6, but the concerns are citywide. So we need you. We need you to pay attention to your constituents, because your city, because we are going to hold you accountable. We're going to do a lot of more of these. So when you don't do something that's needed, or you look over something, or you side with a vote just to keep your political stature up, or your funders happy, or whatever, we're going to call you out. It's just the way it is. It's time out. It's time out for all the nonsense. And one person I did want to address, I'm finna go watch the debate too, is come on like in 1 minute. So tune in WVUA, Jabari is hosting and all that. Go to the, I don't know if he's hosting or not, but it's debate is on. So go check it out. One thing I did want to address, I saw somebody has said something about, it's not about black and white Democrats, it's about the city as a whole. Okay, yeah, I get that. But I also get this. If I have a group of people sitting in a room, half of them are full and half of them are hungry, which one of them need to be fed first? I'm not going to feed the whole room because half of them don't need it right then. But the hungry ones need to be fed now. And these are the people we're talking about right now. The hungry citizens of Tuscaloosa, the underserved areas of Tuscaloosa, the districts has been neglected, abandoned, blight, educational standards, educational schools, and different things like need to be brought up to standard. They exceed standard. That's what we're talking about tonight. We're not talking about that full side of the room, because they're going to get their food eventually. But we're talking about the ones that need to be fed today. Then if you don't feed them, we don't give them what they need. You don't give them infrastructure. You don't give them businesses. You don't bring in affordable housing. You don't bring in entertainment or extracurricular activities. You don't bring in better sewer and water systems so you can bring the quality of living up. You're going to be a one-term representative. Trust me. And you're going to see that March the 2nd. So I'm here. Kids Table Conversation, guys. Thank you for joining. We'll see y'all later. Shout out to our sponsors, guys. Lanier Automotive. Go by and holler at Cashes and get you a car. Miss Michelle Coley. Go by and see her over there Allstate on Hargrove Road. Get you some insurance. And also, if you want to sew into this program, guys, just hit the Cash App. It's right there on the screen. Check it out right there on the screen. Sew into the Cash App. Rod Senior TV. RODSR TV. Just check us out. So into our seat. If you want to sponsor, you want to get a commercial, whatever, because I'm telling you, and this is not me talking, this is the hottest show in West Alabama. We got a lot of them, but this is the hottest one in West Alabama. This is the one that get the most views, most looked at, the most talked about show in West Alabama. And eventually we're going to be the hottest show in America, in the world. But right now, it's the hottest one in West Alabama. So get with us. We'll boost you up. Check us out tomorrow night. Mayoral candidates will be on Kitchen Table tomorrow night starting at 8 o'clock. We got the mayor, we got Ms. Fontenberry, and we got Martin Houston. It's going to be an hour-and-a-half show. So pick your times. We got the mayor first, then Ms. Fontenberry, and then we got Martin Houston right after that. So check us out tomorrow night, Kitchen Table Conversation. Thank you for the night. Go watch the debate. Check it out. WVUO channel 23. Peace.